Hey there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another edition of Teach Me Tuesday. I actually am going to share with you a little card portfolio that I made using some inspiration from a couple of different portfolios that I saw online. But this one's really quick and easy and simple. And I thought it would be a great little thing to maybe do a little door drop for some friends. You know, if you have some extra time and you want to create a little care kit, you could either, put a little note in it, and create some extra cards for them to share the love, or you could maybe just do the cards in it for them to share with friends and family during this time when we're trying to keep our distance. So I thought this would be a good thing to share today. I shared how to do the cards on a different YouTube video, so I will link that in the comments below so you can see how I did that. I'm using the Pleasant Poppies paper, so you can kind of see here, it was a 12 by 12 sheet of paper that had that pattern on both sides, and I just cut it at 4, and then 4 and 4, so you get 3 strips of 4, and then you can just basically cut it in half, and that gives you that perfect little card mat. So it's a very simple, easy card to do, and you can put them together really quickly. And this little holder then holds 6 of the cards and the envelopes. So there's 3 envelopes back here and 3 cards. So you would just kind of slip those into the little pocket. And then same thing on this side. 3 envelopes and 3 cards, and then you could just take those and slip them into the pocket. So I'm going to show you how I made this little guy here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm going to put that out of the way. I'm starting with a piece of Poppy Parade cardstock. This measures 11 by 7, or 7 by 11, however you want to say that. And then I scored it on the long side, so the long edge facing the top of your scoring tool, I scored it at 5 and 6 inches. So you don't want to score it this way, you want to score it the long edge. And you're going to do 5 inches and 6 inches. And that's going to basically give you your book binding for this little portfolio. Okay, so there you can see, there's the start of that. All right, so to create our pockets, we did 2 pieces of Poppy Parade cardstock again. So you're going to need 2 of these, and they measure 6 3/4 by 5. And this one we're going to score on 3 of the 4 sides. You're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and I'm going to show you how I did this. You want to make sure you're scoring on the 2 short sides and then 1 of the long sides. So you don't want to do both long sides. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how that works. So I'm going to do my first short side. I'm going to score it at a 1/2 inch here, like that. Oops. And then an inch here. So same side, I'm doing a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Let me just stand up here, make sure you guys can see this. And I'll pull it down a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to turn and do a 1/2 inch here. And then 1 inch. Again. And then 1 more side, so 3 sides. 1/2 inch. And 1 inch. Okay, so there's 1 of those, and then you're going to do the same thing on your other one. So 1/2 inch on the short side, and 1 inch, and then long side, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch. Okay, whoops, this popped right up. There we go. And then 1 more side, 1/2 inch. Oop. And 1 inch. I don't know why my scoring blade is popping out here. There we go. Okay, so there's the setup for that. Then we're going to take our scissors, and I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see there's a collection of 4 little blocks right here. We're going to cut those right out. So I'm going to do snip and snip, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Snip and snip. Whoop, I didn't quite snip that all the way. I'm going to do the same thing on the other set. So snip up to the score line and over, and then 1 more over here and up. All right, so there we have that. So those are going to be the bases of our pockets. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold these in on the score lines. And then you're going to want to make sure you have some heavy-duty adhesive. So I'm going to use my tear and tape adhesive because that will be nice and strong. Okay, so let me grab that. And I love this because it's very easy to work with. You don't have to worry about your scissors or anything. It literally just tears off. So this is going to fold in like this. So this is the part that's going to attach to our inside of our portfolio. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tape down there. Okay. So we're going to do that on all three sides on the outer edge, on the tab that's on the outermost edge. So we'll do that here. Okay, and then one more. And we'll do this. Okay. And one more. There we go. Okay. So you want to make sure you get a good burnish on these. So you're just going to rub those to make sure they're fully adhered. That. And then the trickiest part of this is getting your pockets into your portfolio straight. What I'm going to do first, though, is I'm actually going to flip it over, and we're going to take a piece of old olive. It measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Oh, wait, before I do that, hold on. I'm going to finish my tape, but before we tape this down, we want to make sure we put the ribbon through. So I'm using the Whisper White polka dot tulle ribbon. So we're going to want to make sure there's enough on each side to tie a bow. So I'm going to lay it kind of right across, leaving some extra on each side. And then cutting that. And then once I've got that laid down flat like this, straight across, then I'm going to go ahead and take my old olive piece that we cut, and I'm going to lay that down on top of the ribbon, so that will hold it in place. Okay. You could use a little bit of a glue dot or something to tack the other side down. I don't normally do that. I just leave it. Then I have a pattern piece of paper from the Poppies paper as well. This one is 4.5 by 6.5, and that's just going to go on top. And you could really use any of the patterns in this. I pulled the cardstock colors from the paper, so you could use whatever pattern you like. But I'm just using this poppy one. Okay, so then that goes like that. All right, and then now we can look at the inside. So now you can see this is set up for me to be able to tie this shut. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that open for now. And we're going to work on getting our pockets in here. So I'm going to take the first one, and I'm going to peel off the backings on my tear and tape. Remember, I burnished this really well. You can use your bone folder or just your finger. Just kind of rub it over the outside of that tape to get it really secure. And then I kind of positioned it first so that this little tab, the bottom one, is inside. And I just lined those up so it's straight corners and kind of adhered that piece together. So you can see I've got a nice little straight corner there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Get that lined up so it's nice and straight. And go ahead and make sure those are attached. And now I can go ahead and position it onto my packet here. You do want to be careful not to go too close to the inside or too close to the bottom. So I'm going to leave about, the side is only probably about 1/8 of an inch on each side. The bottom, it's about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to get that positioned as best as I can, hopefully straight, maybe a little bit lower. You don't want to put it too high and then the cards stick out at the top. All right, so there we go. So now I just did what you don't want to do. You want to make sure you stick your fingers in here and rub this down with your hand, because if you push down on this, you're going to smush your pocket. So I'm just kind of going over that tape and burnishing it with my hand on the inside now, just to make sure it's fully adhered. Okay, and then we can do the same thing on the other side, and this time you can use the first pocket as your guide for, you want them to be straight across from each other. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to peel these backings off. This one I kind of went off the edge a little bit. Can you see that? So I'm just going to fold that over. There you go. And then we'll do the same thing. We're going to tuck this bottom one in and make ourselves a straight little edge. Okay, and tuck this in and get a straight little edge there. Okay, now we can go ahead and get it positioned so it's same positioning as this one, and again about the same distance up. So I'm kind of eyeballing from here to here so I can make sure those are even. I'm going to kind of gently tack it down, and then I'll flip it over and burnish it from the inside with my hands. Okay, and there you have your little portfolio. So now your cards will get tucked inside. This can now close, and I can wrap this around and tie a little bow. I will say this ribbon is very pretty, but it's not the easiest to tie a bow with because it gets caught. The tulle ribbon, I don't know if you've ever used or played with tulle at all, but it can get like, it's kind of snaggy. But it works and it's cute, so I like it. But we have some other white ribbon that might tie a little bit easier. I liked the thickness of this one though. So, all right. There we go. Okay, so there is our little portfolio. Now I just wanted to add a little bit of decoration. So, oh, I forgot. Hold on. I tied this and I wasn't quite done. So I did add some pattern paper to this, and you could totally doctor this up way more than I did, but I just added a little bit of the coordinating paper from the Poppy Suite. On here, these pattern pieces measure 4.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach these down to the center of those pockets. You could obviously, you know, really get fancy and doctor these up a little bit more. I just kept it simple with just 2 pieces of, did I cut that wrong? I did. That's not going to work. Let me cut a new piece if I can find it. There we go. Through the magic of TV, I have another piece and it's cut properly. So we have, it's 4.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. You could totally use this flower paper on the inside too, but I'm going subtle because remember, I'll have my cards in here too, so I don't want to detract from those. So I'm just going to tape that down. So then we have this. And now I can retie it. I'm getting practice tying with this bow, with this material rather. I'm going to just tie that into a little bow. And then I wanted to decorate the front a little bit. So I just took my Peaceful Moments stamp set here. And I lost my, I had a piece of white. I used a 2 1/4 inch punch out of Old Olive. And then a 2 inch punch out of Whisper White. Let me get a piece here. So since I had a piece on the table, but it disappeared, so I'm just going to pop another one. All right. And then I used the sentiment that says these are the moments we'll look back on with joy. And this may not be the most appropriate sentiment to use on this in the front, actually. But it's the one I used on the original. And you know what, I do say, though, having said that, you know, there's a lot more time spent at home, you know, family dinners, and it's all in the perspective we give to our kids and families and whatnot. So if we live in the small moments of joy that we're dealing with every day right now, I think we can look back on this in a positive light. As scary and hard as it is and tough it is for those of you that are dealing with family members that are sick, I'm sending prayers to you and hoping that all is well in all of the end of this. But we do kind of have to look a little bit for the silver lining sometimes with these kinds of events. So I'm using my Stampin' Up markers, the Stampin' Write markers, and I'm coloring the smaller letters here with my brush tip, the brush tip side. And I'm using this side here. And then I'm going to go ahead and use, so you want to use the side and not the tip, because otherwise you'll get that all fuzzy and then it doesn't work well for when you're coloring. And I'm going to do the bigger words, the joy and moments. And we're going to go ahead and color those in red. Yeah, I would have switched up this sentiment actually, but this is the one that fits best from this stamp set, and that's what I pulled because that's what I used originally, which was done well before any of this craziness ensued. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this. This is a great technique to do if you want a image or a sentiment or something like that in 2 different colors. It's the beauty of having Stampin' Write markers in all the colors, because they can match your card, your project, but you can use different colors. So then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this. Okay, so there you can see the 2 different colors. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the old olive circle. And again, it was a 2-inch circle and a 2 1/4 inch base circle. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and I have some silver glimmer paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut banner ends on both sides. Like that. And this side as well. There we go. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of adhesive back here to put this on. It won't hold the glitter paper very well, but once I get this positioned in the right place, I'm going to use dimensionals to hold everything in place, and so that will hold it on permanently. All right, so I'm going to grab some of my dimensionals, and we'll just stick, I'm going to actually kind of overlap them on the edges of that glimmer paper just so that it stays down. Because the regular snail adhesive and most snail adhesives don't really hold the glimmer paper. It needs a stronger adhesive, but the glue dots work great. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stick this right in the middle. And there you have it. You have your finished little portfolio that then can hold your cards. And again, I'll link to the original video with these cards in it. In the description below, as well as putting all the measurements in there for you too. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you and your family are staying safe and healthy. And if there's anything I can do to help in terms of entertainment wise, if you're looking for a specific technique or something else I can help you with, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you again next week, and I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.